Tuesday night was set up to be an interesting historic encounter between 115 charges and Tiny Tots. And who knew, who hoped, who believed that London would unite together and there'll be an upset on the cars? But no, Son and Romero made sure that that was not the case. But we still head into a final day where there may be egg on Tottenham's face for more than one reason, and we will get into that very shortly. Welcome back to another episode of One Kick from Glory. It's myself, Clive. I'm joined by Matthew.
Yes.
And Craig.
Yeah.
And we are going to start off with that game at the Tottenham Hot Bowl Stadium. You notice how I always get the name wrong. It's not a mistake. I know the name of their stadium. I refuse to say it correctly. The name I would rather call it is Toilet Bowl, Crap Heart Lane, all the other things. But I want to start off with that match. And I think that it's just fascinating because we understand local rivalries. There's been a lot of things come out since then about the Tottenham Supporters Trust wanting to explain to Ange Postecoglou what rivalry means, forgetting the fact that he was like Celtic in his previous job. But I guess where I want to start off with, and I'll start with you, Craig, is just that, like, going into that fixture, did you really expect Tottenham to do anyone a favour?
No. I was hoping, but I wasn't like some fans I saw like wearing Tottenham shirts and doing all that nonsense. I was like, you know what? I watched the game and I'm like, they ain't gonna win. They played well in the first half, to be fair. Second half, they just capitulated. But I knew in my heart that they're not going to win that game. I just felt, you know, you got your head and you got your heart. In my head, I'm thinking they're going to lose the game. In my heart, I thought, yeah, maybe I'll try for pride. But I knew they weren't going to do it. When their fans were doing the Poznan celebration on City score, I said, nah, this club is a joke. It's not serious. So I thought, you know what? I just said to myself, you know what? We're not going to win the game. We have to just hopefully West Ham can do something or whatever. A miracle happens on Sunday. That's what I'm thinking of now. I know it's over, but you have, as a fan, you have that 1% chance or maybe something could happen. That's all I have right now, a 1% chance.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not over yet because mathematically it's still all to play for. There's not a big enough gap between us and them. Obviously, if we both win our matches, it's done and they win. But as it stands, it's a 1 point gap with City on top. Arsenal can still end up victorious, like you said, with a result in that match between them and West Ham. Obviously, we still have to do our job against Everton at home. Before getting into all of that, I guess for you, Matthew, when you look back on that game, Tottenham versus Man City, a lot at stake for both teams. Well, yeah, I mean, for Tottenham, you know, they still had that possibility of making it into Champions League football for next season. Aston Villa had their awards show in the evening. And there's a great picture of Unai Emery's reaction when he found out that they actually made Champions League. And on the one hand, I'm very happy for him. You know, he's a great manager, and I think he's been vindicated in his time at Aston Villa. I think there's been a lot of skeptics around him. I know as Arsenal fans, we were a bit, you know, we haven't forgotten how things ended there. And I think that's kind of left a sore spot for a lot of us. But like when you think about the match from a Tottenham perspective, taking Arsenal out of the equation, do you think it's a bit of a disappointment the fact that they've gone now with that defeat? That's 5 losses out of 6 in a row in the league.
I think this game was a distraction for them because, like, as much as they had their thing on their line in the Champions League, I think to see their bitter rivals for the first time in like 20 odd years get a chance of a Premier League, I think it was a case of where it was like self-sabotage in a way. It kind of reminds me, not necessarily the form, but the situation where back when Chelsea were going for the league title back in 2010 and United were chasing, and how many Liverpool fans were wearing like Chelsea shirts. I think at the time it would have equaled or beaten the record that they had. It's kind of the same energy as that, where it's like you don't quite know how to feel as a fan because you're not going to win any trophies, but you still got something online. You get back into European football. You know, it's confusing because they still had something on the line, but at the same time, their form has been disgusting. Arsenal, Chelsea, City, who else beat them? Like apart from basically everyone, the last few games. Like it's just
Newcastle.
How do you look? Yeah, Newcastle. How do you look at that as a season going towards the end when you still got something to fight and you've just done that? You come up against City, where, like you said, in your heart they're gonna get battered. In your head, they'll probably get battered even more. Like, how do you come up to something like that and like what do you even think? What is there to like say? It's is do Arsenal live rent free in their heads or something? Is that truly what they were thinking about instead of trying to do something to improve their season? In look, the gap between Europa and Champions League is massive. You could argue they've got a better chance of you winning Europa, but everyone talks about is the Champions League. Newcastle did it last year. Aston Villa have done it this year. I mean, who's it going to be next year? West Ham? Man United? Hell, Ipswich? Are they going to get back to the Champions League before? Are Leicester going to get there before them? I said last week to you, Clive, remember I said, in the time it's taken Harry Kane to try and challenge for some kind of title, Leicester won, then they won the FA Cup, they got relegated and won again, and the league championship. Like, how you had let that sink in for a second. Like, I mean, as a fan, it's just so poor. It's just so poor. Take the Arsenal out of the equation. It's such a strange thing to comprehend. I mean, I thought they'd put a bit more of a fight. I didn't think they'd win, but thought something would happen. But it's so strange. It's a case of again for them missed opportunity for Spurs. Really, it's so weird. It's so weird.
It's so Spursy though. Like, I mean, yeah, we do live rent free in their head. They don't live rent free in ours. Like, I can't even say they're like our little brothers. They're not. They're literally just that annoying neighbour that you just happen to share a patch of land with. They annoys you so much. Like, I think, and don't get me wrong. I know when there's obviously there's a clip of AFTV from DT when Robbie asked him, we're in the Europa League final, Tottenham in the Champions League final. Would you sacrifice us winning that for Tottenham to lose Champions League final? He was like, yeah, of course. Obviously, we can jokingly say it, and obviously in that context, that's a whole different ballgame. Like, them winning the Champions League before us, yeah, I understand. I get it. But the league, we have won it on your patch before. It wouldn't be new. We've done it before. We've dunked on your head tops on your patch before. So it's not like that's like a groundbreaking thing. Oh my goodness, Arsenal going to beat us at home. What are we going to do? We've done it before. The key thing now is like what about you? Where do you want to go? And I mean, there's a great compilation video of Conte, Jose, and Ange kind of just sharing their frustration with the state of Tottenham, because it's just like, at the end of the day, unfortunately, you guys are just the Bottle FC joke of a club that has no ambitions to win anything. And Expressions, your video online was amazing. It was hilarious. But your club is a joke thing, man. Waste, man, fam. But, we're here now. And on that note, there's something that I really want to highlight, because I feel like it's been really funny for Tottenham to feel like they've denied Arsenal a trophy and they're laughing around, and, there's still time. Like Craig says, anything can happen on Sunday. But here's the ironic thing. Because of Chelsea's great result yesterday, as of recording, you're now on 60 points with a goal difference of 13. Tottenham are in 5th on 63 points with a goal difference of 10. And they have Sheffield United next. Now, we know Sheffield United have been the whole season. They have just not figured it out. But if Sheffield United were decided to end the season on a high, come away with 3 points, and they're playing at home on Sheffield United, it's their last game in Premier League at home. We know how these teams do when they're relegated. They always put on a show for their fans, right? To show them they're going to bounce back strong. Leicester did it last season. Sam did it last season as well. If Tottenham were to lose and Chelsea were to beat AFC Bournemouth at the Bridge, y'all would be in the Europa Conference League, all for the joy of robbing Arsenal of a title. Dumbass. That's what you guys are dumb. Matthew, how happy are you with the possibility of putting egg on their faces this weekend?
If you told me if this was a thing about even 3 weeks ago, I would have been like, it's not even going to be a thing that happened. It seems to be that when you guys beat us, something certain seems to happen. It happened in 2016-17, it's happening now. We've actually, if you look at our 2024 as like per game, I think we're only behind the 3 title challengers. That's how good our form has been. And, we're good, and it seems to be it's happening at exactly the right time. We're getting in not just wins, but half decent performances as well. Yesterday's performance was a hard fought one against Nottingham Forest, who we had not on the Saturday Nottingham Forest, so I've no luck against. Brighton bogey seems to be ending. Spurs, West Ham, teams recently we've had a bit of trouble with. We're turning it around at just the right time. We're getting lots of players scoring. The injuries are starting to kind of slow down a little bit, and Kunku got on the score sheet again. Jackson, for as frustrating he has been, has still put in decent numbers and goals in as well. Like it's starting to turn the corner, and it seems to be finally, I'm able to say that he's found something and a method that works for him. He's transformed Cucurella. He's done really, really well. Conor Gallagher's at the point where other players now want him. See the difference when he played Trevor Chalobah, an actual centre-back, a guy who was on the brink of leaving and unfortunately may still be. Like, he slotted in so well, and just shows you why he should be at this club like so much longer. He's clearly been learning under Thiago Silva on what it means to be a centre-back, so that's absolutely fantastic. The right guy is in the sticks, and Petrovic. He is our number one. He just is. We obviously got him. That's before I even get to Cole Palmer. That's before we even get to him. Like, fighting the freak that is Brock Lesnar up on the front for the goals. We have got a good thing going at the moment, and it's kind of shades of what we were doing in pre-season, where we were just blitzing people on the attack. We were quick and we were adventurous on the goal. I just think injuries, tinkering, and a lot of backroom politics and distractions kind of derailed us a little bit, and it just annoys me that games like your Burnley draw, the Sheffield United draw, the Aston Villa draw recently, which should have been a win, what a difference it would have been. We would have been comfortably fifth. We could have maybe even challenging for fourth. But irregardless, we're doing it right at the end. So to catch Spurs, if that were a case to catch Spurs on the last day after all of that, would be the best feeling, because it just shows what we can actually do when we actually knuckle down, and B, Tottenham get battered everywhere they go.
They do, and they just don't seem to learn, and that's the point Ange was trying to make. There's a clip again from the bench cam where some of the fans are chanting some stuff at him, and he turned around and he was just like, "What'd you say, mate? I've noted your face." So that doesn't get banned from the stadium. But I think that's the thing that Tottenham aren't really kind of grasping. It's like I fully get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying our rivalry. I understand they're our bitter rival. I mean, if it was a situation where it was Man United, Man City, same situation, I would get it. I understand. But there comes a point when your own individual needs far outweigh the prospect of your rival's success. Like, if Man United were challenging for Champions League and they had a game like this where if they lost, or if they won, it would have helped Man City win the title, for example, right? I don't see them throwing the match away. Why would they? I mean, okay, yeah, Man City might win the league, but as far as they concerned, Man City are far inferior to them. They might be winning now in recent years, but Man City have got nothing on their history. They've got nothing on their class. They've got nothing on their legacy. So if Man United, they wouldn't care much what happens in that result. Tiny Tots, that's why we call you Tiny Tots. That's why you guys are a joke man club. Small club, man. No history. No, you got history. No class, no success. And this is the way you want to go about things. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bitter. I'm just very passionate about the integrity in sport. And you guys had a job. And Son Heung-min, I'm sorry, but that miss, Craig, talk to me about that miss. Because, we've seen this brother score this goal multiple times this season. Same position. Even Andrew was saying himself that it's unusual because Tottenham are so used to scoring late goals. But the crowd obviously weren't on it because they were more invested in Arsenal than their own team. Talk to me about Son, Craig.
Clive. If that was against Arsenal and he has to score that goal, he scores that goal. If that's against Chelsea, he has to score that goal, he scores that goal. If that's against Man United, he has to score that goal, he scores that goal. If that's against Liverpool, like he scored against Liverpool the other day, he scores that goal. He just didn't want to score. I looked at the chart so many times. He could have gone around the goalkeeper and slotted it in. He didn't have to hit it first time. He could have gone around the goalkeeper. There was an angle where he could have done a fake chop, gone around the goalkeeper and slotted it in. He didn't have, or he could have dinked it and he could have scored. Keeper was already flat out, and Guardiola was on the floor. He knew that if someone scored a goal, that's it, title gone. He knew. Guardiola knew. Even after the game, he was praising the goalkeeper, saying, "You say you won the title for us." But what I want to say, Son bottled it. A lot of them bottled it the other day. To be honest, the second half they bottled it. You can't blame the manager. The manager came with a game plan to win the game, and the players are not playing for him. I'm sorry, like, don't be surprised in the summer if you see a lot of them Spurs players not there next season.
You think so?
Just mark my word. A lot of them players might not be there next season. I'm telling you, he might want to have a massive clear out and bring in the players that he wants to bring in that wants to compete. The problem with Tottenham is that over the years they've declined. Over the years, declined. The last time they won a trophy, 2008 League Cup. What have they won since? Yeah, they've been to cup finals. They've been Champions League final, but they weren't going to win it anyway. They've been to League Cup finals. They weren't going to win it anyway, so it was just a waste of time. But they have no ambition. When I mean ambition to win trophies. You had Mourinho as a manager, serial winner in Mourinho, didn't win nothing. You had Conte, serial winner, didn't win nothing. Ange is a good manager, won trophies at Celtic, won trebles at Celtic, didn't win anything in his first season. It's all good you blaming the manager saying if the manager thought I did not win anything, but you have to take a look at the players. Are the players good enough? Why did Harry Kane leave Tottenham in the summer? He was there for how many years? What did he win? Nothing. He's a top goal scorer at Tottenham every season. Scored in the North London derbies every season. What did he win? Nothing. Went to Bayern Munich. What did he win in his first season? Nothing. So who do you blame? The players or the fans? I blame the players. They got a weak mentality. The whole club's got, from the owner to the board, the chairman, everyone. They got a weak. All they care about is money. They don't care about winning. So you can't put Tottenham and you can't compare Tottenham Arsenal and put them in the same bracket. Arsenal are used to winning big trophies. We want to win. We haven't won the title for 20 years. Yeah, I understand. Not won a Champions League, haven't won a Europa League, but we're still trying to challenge for these trophies. We're not like Tottenham giving up and not trying. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean that's the crazy thing. I think that ultimately this is the other thing. So I was talking to someone yesterday about it as well, and we were just talking about, like, for Ange, because I think the thing a lot of Tottenham fans have forgotten is that the manager himself has his own ambition. He has his own career prospects and things he wants to achieve. He might look at this and think, like, can I achieve what I want to achieve by staying at Tottenham? And if you're Man United now, I'll be honest with you, if I'm Sir Jim Ratcliffe right now, forget going for Southgate. Even though me personally, I back the Southgate appointment 1000%. I think he should do it. Whatever. I would call Ange today. Be like, mate, like I saw the press conference. I'm sorry having to go through this. Look, would you be open to coming to Old Trafford? Would you like to spearhead our new project? Because I'll tell you what, you put Ange Postecoglou in Man United. Now, don't get me wrong, Ange has got some tactical things he needs to figure out, because that high line with those crap defenders, it ain't gonna run. Maguire in a high line, that's a heart attack every week. That'll be 5-0 at Old Trafford defeat, right? But and I gotta give Tottenham credit, because how they started this season, their attacking football, their patterns, their build-up play, it was good. They had something. Did they have something good enough to win anything? No. But at one point, they were ahead of Arsenal on the table, and they were dreaming. Dare to dream is their motto. Continue to fail is their reality. So I just think that if Man United came in for him, he might feel like I got to do what's right for me. Because the thing that people need to remember and realise with the situation with Ange and the Tottenham and the fallout from it is that it wasn't just the fans. Even though the supporters club have come forward and said to him, we want to have a meeting with you to tell you about the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry. Idiots. Like he doesn't understand rivalries. I mean, he was at Celtic, for crying out loud. It's not just that. I think the bigger issue for him is that it seems like there was staff within the Tottenham that was telling him, we could play kids against Man City. Staff employed by Tottenham. So within the club, there's this mindset of Arsenal can't win. That's the first mind. Arsenal can't win. My friend, we don't give a about you. We ain't even thinking about you. We ain't looking at you. You built your stadium, whoop-de-do. We didn't care. We just kept it moving. But for you guys, everything we do, you got to do one better. Arsenal get a new stadium. We got to get a new stadium too. But for what fans? For where fans? Okay. Now, you might argue their stadium is filled most weeks. Guess what? You can buy their tickets on wish.com. Not wish.com. You can, not wish.com, but you know what I mean? You can use those sites to buy tickets to Tottenham. Arsenal tickets, you can't find them there. You can't find them there. Arsenal.com only. Even if you go through third-party resellers, you ain't going to get a ticket. You might pay the money, but ticket ain't going to come. Big boy club. Not some tin pot market lane, right? Anyway, honestly, Groupon. You can buy tickets on Groupon for Tottenham matches. Groupon. And you want to tell me you're a serious club? Tottenham, Man City. Only 2 big clubs you can find on Groupon. You won't find Chelsea there. You won't find Man United there. You won't find Liverpool there. You won't find Arsenal there. But you'll find the 2 tin pot clubs there. The one that cheats and the one that fails.
Oh my God.
Anyway, let's move on from Tottenham, yeah, because if I keep speaking, I'll be in big trouble. Let's talk about Chelsea, though, because you guys are on a great run. Incredible, tightly, hard-fought 2-1 win away from home against Brighton. The man of the moment, Cucurella. Sorry, not Cucurella. The man of the moment, well, Cucurella got an assist, so that's great for him. But the man of the moment, Cole Palmer, doing what he does best. And Christopher Nkunku coming back on the score sheet. Matthew, how happy are you? Actually, before I go to you about that result, I guess, Craig, when you look at that now, and like I said, in light of the possibility of Chelsea catching Tottenham, which would be flipping hilarious for all of us, how would you sum up what you've seen from Chelsea in their last sort of 5 or 6 matches?
Right. It's the man. It's the Pochettino effect. He's finally got the right team that can play. The team is finally gelled at the end of the season. If you asked me this 2 months ago, would I think Chelsea will finish in where they are now? I would say no. And I think Matthew would agree with me as well. I don't think they would have finished where he thought they would have finished. But I think they had a lot of injuries this season, and they got to a cup semi-final, they got to a cup final, and they're doing well. Wouldn't it be ironic if they finished above Tottenham? That would be ironic. Like if they win their final game and Tottenham slip up or lose the game, then Chelsea will have a better season than Tottenham. Then because they came back at one stage they were like 13th in the table, 12th or 13th in the table, and they just kept on winning. Even better season than Man United as well. Even Man United got to a cup final, they'd have got a better season than both teams because they've climbed up above Man United. I think the game that changed Chelsea's season for me was the Man United game when they beat them. I think that's when I saw the change in form after that. I think that game changed Chelsea's season because I think after that they just came into games fearless. I know you, Matthew, said that the Arsenal game was one of the factors as well. That game as well, but I think the Man United game was a big factor as well. Because after that, you just kept on winning, even losing against Nottingham Forest the other day. You didn't panic. You came back and won. So it goes to show that you got resilience in your team. I feel like if you get 3 or 4 players in the summer, I can see Chelsea back in the top 4 reckoning again next season. If you can keep the manager as well. But what you have to do is buy the right players. I think the right players is key in the summer. Buy the right players in the right positions because you don't want to have another season where you buy the wrong players again and you end up fighting, like not struggling and get injuries again. So you have to buy the right players. You have to get rid of players that you feel that are not good enough. Like I would definitely keep Gallagher and Trevor Chalobah. I'll definitely keep them 2. I think they're academy products. I think them 2 would be good for the club. But if you have to sell 1 or 2, you might have to sell. If you had to really sell 1 or 2 of them, you'd rather sell maybe Chalobah and keep Gallagher because Gallagher's a very good player. Modric is looking good now. Sterling, maybe cut your losses on Sterling in the summer. Whoever we can maybe send to Saudi Arabia or maybe send to another club abroad or something. Lukaku would definitely be gone in the summer. He's on big wages at the club. You can't keep him on there. Goalkeeping situation, the goalkeeper looks good, but maybe you need a backup and get rid of Sanchez in the summer as well. He done okay, but I don't think he's a Chelsea goalkeeper, to be honest. You definitely need a replacement for Thiago Silva. Been a great servant for Chelsea the last 4 years. It's gonna be very difficult to find someone as good as him and a leader in the team, but you have to find somebody who can eventually replace him and get you to the next level, the next era of football. And if you guys get European football, you definitely gonna need a big squad for European football. So definitely, I'll say that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But on that note, Matthew, I guess looking at just the game, I mean, another great win, another great performance.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fight, and I think that's what we've been missing, like, for these, like, some of the wins we have is that it's sometimes the case, unfortunately, where the other team is just really, really bad. But the last few games hasn't been the case. We've played against teams that, A, that are good, and B, we've struggled. Since Nottingham Forest, it's our first win against Nottingham Forest since getting promoted from last year, because they beat us back at the bridge back in September. So we had to fight. Brighton, they battered us twice last year, 4-1 at the Amex last year. So it's a great recovery to come round. And, they had chances. They had a few things where they could have, not easily equalised or maybe even taken a little cheeky win. But we fought it through. Yes, there's a red card with the whole Reece James situation, which is a bit of a downer. But still, with the 10 men, we kept soldiering on. And I think a lot of the time in these games where you guys know, you're not gonna win the pretty way you want. Sometimes you got to dig deep. Sometimes you got to fight ugly on. Sometimes a horrible cold night. Sometimes playing in England. Granted, it's a nice warm night, but you still got to play and you still got to fight. I also think that the players around, there's a bit of a harmonious. It seems a bit more of a harmonious thing right now with the players that want to be part of the regime that are starting to kind of like bear fruit. But it's important to have those academy prospects. We saw it once, we're going to see it again. First time round under Frank, you saw those young prospects come through. They still managed to get us into the Champions League. They still got to an FA Cup final. Second time round again, we still managed to get to a cup final, a semi-final with the prospect of getting Europe again. And remember, you can argue that this time it was worse because at least from there they were coming from a more cohesive team. Last year, disaster. We finished in 12th, had all this talent, and basically flogged our whole midfield to our rivals. Whereas now it's kind of like we're restarting again to where we are now, and it's taken time. It's been difficult, and there have been times where the manager might have been. I thought he'd been on the chopping block by the end of the season, and I'm sure a lot of fans might want to see it that way. But considering against the seasons like of Spurs and of Man United, he may be more justified to be keeping his job. I mean, Ange, I think Ange also, it's a frustration with Ange right now, because especially after seeing Celtic win only a day later, just to show what he came from a club with a mentality that knows how to win. And that's where Pochettino's at right now. He's at a club with a mentality where we want to compete, we want to win. Tell us what you want and we will do it. Every other year, bar last, we remain competitive. And, rejuvenating the likes of, especially like Cucurella, been absolutely rejuvenated. Moises Caicedo slowly showing why we spent that money on him from Brighton in the first place. He's finally finding it. There's cases for the players that don't make it. Well, maybe that's a case of, that's just football for you and in success. All teams know that, sometimes you've got to be more ruthless and cutthroat and getting rid of players that aren't part of the programme. The difference is for us is that we pay a lot of money for them. I'm looking at the likes of Mudryk. I'm looking at the likes of Enzo. If Man United are really getting rid of their squad, I'll take Rashford and you can have Sterling. That's the case. I'll do it. I will do it. I'll take my. He'll look good in the Man United shirt. Let's be real. And with Rashford, it's a second chance to try and rejuvenate his career. Don't go to Paris, come to us. We'll show you. So, but it's just good. Like I said before, it's good to be getting this kind of progress at the right time at the end of the season where we're taking advantage of other teams' slack. Man United, regardless of their win yesterday, are still behind us and still even behind Newcastle. And, Spurs, five defeats in 6. And they have the gall to call themselves a competing club. Sorry, but you're not. So we're getting it right in. We get a good win against Bournemouth, and who knows? It's a complete turnaround from where we were. But if anything, it puts a bigger target on his back, especially with certain players coming back. Kepa's coming back. Speaking of goalkeeper, Kepa's coming back. Then there's a whole situation with Lukaku. He's going to have just as, if anything, more problems now, because it's like, you managed to turn it around now. Now you got to do that, but for 95% of the season, not even including cup competitions. You've got to do it in the league. Because I'm looking at Todd, I'm looking at Bowley, and I'm thinking, I don't know why I'm looking at him, because he drives me mad sometimes. But this next season, Poch has got to do. He's got to improve. Regardless of how we've turned it around the last few games, it is only the last few games. We need to see a massive improvement next year anyway.
All right, let's throw it this way then. What would be the scenario that you think would see Poch out the door sharpish going into in next season?
If he loses the first 10 games, he's gone.
You'd give him 10?
I'll give him 10. Like I said, the turnaround's good, but the turnaround came in the last few games. Emphasis on the few. Not a case of the whole consistency of the whole season. Well, yes, you're doing it, but with the money spent and the expectation that we have, we're kind of looking at a little bit more. I had Chelsea at one point firmly in top 4 at the start of the season from what we saw at pre-season. So no, we haven't failed, but we've slightly underachieved. On an A, we're getting like a C minus. So
No, you failed. Don't try that. You failed.
It's a C.
No. Tottenham can try that. You have failed this season. It's okay. You failed. You're a work in progress, but you have failed.
It's a workable thing.
for like you said, for money spent for pre-season, the what Pochettino was supposed to bring to this club, the fact that he's good at working with younger players, what he did at Tottenham, what he did at Southampton. Ignore PSG because. But even then, he got him to the Champions League final. So, like, all the things he's done prior to coming to Chelsea, you guys have failed this season. You have. If you'd got, I mean, you're in the, no, you're not in the
Carabao Cup.
If you'd won that, I might give you that C plus. I might give it to you if you'd won that, but you haven't. So you're ending the season trophyless, still with a lot of money. I mean, yeah, if you end up finishing 5th, I'm like, well done, you've redeemed yourself, but I'm still calling it a failed season. The same way, like for Arsenal finishing 5th when we had 4th in the bag was a failed season, but we made steps forward. So you've made steps forward, but you still failed this year.
That's why he has at least 10. Let's say his first 10, he only wins 3, he's gone.
I think for me, I if it was me personally, I'd judge it on pre-season, and I would look at, because to me, I think about last season with Arsenal in pre-season. And I was just seeing a consistent pattern of play. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I kept saying it. Like, something's different about Arsenal. People were like, nah, same what Arsenal said. No. There's something different about us in pre-season. I could explain what I'm seeing, but I'm like, it's not just like, oh, it's pre-season, we're playing football. We were blitzing. Even when we played you guys, we battered you in pre-season the previous year. We looked strong against everyone. I think it's only Barcelona might have given us a tougher game. But like, we just looked good across the board. And then the season starts and then we flew out the traps and then we kind of ran out of gas near the end. So I think preseason is I think it's more so important for you guys than maybe any other team, because of the fact that if I'm a Chelsea fan, I would want to see signs of progress. I'd want to see the front 4 making sense. I'd want to see a back 4 that makes sense. I'd want to see a midfield pairing that makes sense. Now, for me, at that point, the results don't really matter in pre-season. I want to see something I want to see the units. I want to see we have a set 2 that's going to hold and play all 3. I want to see the front 3 that makes sense, or whatever, however you play the front. I want to see the attack making sense. I want the defense to make sense. I want us to have a settled back 4 or back 3 or whatever you play back there. It needs to be settled.
Have a plan, isn't it? It's all about having a plan.
Yeah, that's it. That's the most important thing.
Have a plan.
So for me, like, that's what it's got to come down to. So as long as you do that, I think then you'll be fine. But if you don't do that, then it's a bigger problem. So yeah, let's talk about Liverpool before we go into the last match of the season. Obviously, they've got a game at home. In fact, there's a amazing picture I put in our WhatsApp group of Jurgen Klopp was at Anfield this week, just with all the trophies that he's won in his time at Liverpool. And I just thought it was just a beautiful reminder of what success looks like. Tottenham. You think I'm on your neck? I'm on your neck. I'm on your neck. No, but it was a great reminder of what success looks like, and it just reminded me of just how much he's achieved there. You know, they've got their last game against Wolverhampton Wanderers on the weekend, and it's going to be emotional for the fans, for the players. I think Liverpool fell upon an absolute gem. I know Mark will always remember what Jurgen Klopp brought to that club. You know, but putting aside the trophies, this man united a whole bloody city. He got the fans to have pride in their club again. He got them to compete against the juggernaut cheating Manchester Blue. Man Blue, as I'll now start referring to them, because I ain't going to call you Man City. You're now Man Blue. Pez vibes. But, you know, that's not easy. And you look at some of the finishes they had, one season 97 points and Man City win it on 98. One season they had one loss that year and it was Man City and they lose the title. Like, they've gone toe to toe with them cheating so-and-sos. And they're there. But for you, Craig, I guess looking at that, obviously it's going to be a massive new era next season for them. New manager, new approach, new everything. But how do you think Liverpool are going to send off Klopp in this last game?
I have to win. and they have to win big as well. A big win. I set a statement for the rest of the league for next season. 'Cause I know the new manager coming in, it's not going to be easy for him coming in because like when new managers come from another league, only if you're Mourinho or Guardiola. Even Guardiola struggled in his first season when he came to England. He didn't win anything that season. He struggled. I don't know who won the league that season, but he didn't win the league that season when he first came in. I think it was
It might
Leicester.
have been was it Leicester season?
no
I
no, it
think
wasn't Leicester. It was
I
either
swear
it
it
was
was.
Chelsea or Chelsea. It was Chelsea won the league that season. I think it
Oh, his
was.
first season was 2016, 2017. They
Oh,
finished
Chelsea.
third.
I was
Chelsea won
Chelsea.
it, yeah.
Chelsea that won that league. I remember that was under Conte, no?
Conte. Yeah.
Yeah.
Conte's first season. I remember that well. But in all honest thought, I feel that like the new manager's gonna have to settle in quickly. Maybe he got to get his signings during the summer before the Euros. Identify the players he wants to keep and the ones he wants to sell. If I was him, I'll do it like maybe freshen up the front line again. I feel like maybe sell Diaz, maybe sell Salah, bring in a clinical striker who can score 20, 30 goals a season. Defense they need.
I mean, it's funny. You could just say bring the clinical striker that can score and full stop and leave it at that. Because the one they've got up there struggles with that. But yeah,
I feel they're still like light in midfield, like centre mid. I feel like they haven't really replaced Ronaldo. He was a good player for them. I don't think they replaced him in that midfield or Jordan Henderson either. I think they need someone in that midfield like Holding. Endo's okay, but it's not his legs. He's not old. He's not a young player. He's very old, so 31. So you need to get someone younger and try and maybe Gravenberch could do that role next season if he's given a chance. The goalkeeping situation, Alisson's still number one, I still think. Gallagher will challenge him for like in cup competitions and all that. I think right back's another position as well. I think maybe but they got that young kid as well. He played well this season before he got injured. He did all right. But I still think Liverpool need a few players here and there just to challenge again because they did fall off. Their fall off was very like I was shocked. Because in January they were top of the league by a lot of points, and then after that they started losing games, drawing games, and then they kind of fell off. So they need to be more consistent next season. Try and challenge for a trophy again, and see to take it from there. I would say.
yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. We all have a lot of work to do. We're gonna end with the match that is gonna be the focus this weekend. Find it interesting that the CEO, chief exec of the Premier League, is going to be at Emirates and not at the Etihad. Obviously there's two trophies that's in circulation this weekend for the Premier League title. But the fact that they're going to be at the Emirates says everything to me. Says everything to me. Says irrespective of what happens, I'm not giving you this trophy, you cheating club. Anyway, that being said, lots still to play for. Massive game. Arsenal have Everton at home. We launched our new kit today, as of recording. Beautiful kit. We've gone to the cannon. It's the year of the cannon, and in fact, Arsenal for all of our kits are going to have just the cannon on the like what I'm wearing right now. Just the cannon, no normal badge, just the cannon on our kits going forward for this season. Maybe indefinitely, we'll see. But they want to just reconnect with that classic history from the club, which is nice. But we're going to have to be firing and shooting, and I think obviously, we need a big favour from West Ham. But right now, there's the goal difference is one. It's one goal difference puts Arsenal ahead of Man City. So we might need to score quite a few. I mean, we need to beat Everton anyway to start off with. You've got to do that part first. And then we've got to hope for a big one from West Ham. For you, Matthew, because, I know when I spoke to Mark about this, he said long while ago that it's been done, it's over, and, it's Man City, they don't fall away from here. And I hear that. I'm not dismissing that. Here's the thing for me. Football ain't played on paper. And you see the way they were celebrating against Tiny Tots on Tuesday, disgusting. The media calling the game done. The game ain't even done yet. Ain't even played. But for you, Matthew, how could West Ham do us all a favour and stop Man City doing a 4-peat?
Well, it's funny that I was listening to the radio today and, big thing that came up, and this could be a bit of like mind. No, it's not necessarily mind games, but Edison's won't be there. Ederson's not going to be there.
Yeah.
He's got a fractured thing. And it just has the voodoo funniness of, like, do you remember the stomach gate they had between West Ham and Tottenham back in like 2007 or something?
I remember that.
Oh,
Lasagna Gate.
2004,
Lasagna
5.
Gate.
Lasagna Gate. 0405.
Lasagna gate.
No, it's 05,
No,
05,
0506. Sorry, 0506. Last season at Highbury. Yeah.
Remember the 1998 World Cup when Brazil went through the whole thing of not playing R9?
Yeah.
This has got voodoo or something like that written all over it. So I can't professionally or whatever on a football level tell you, but I'm just going to say the fact that they're taking this whole thing with, you know, him not being there, which is going to be a big loss because he is their top gear goalkeeper. He's one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League and has been for the last few seasons. I'm just saying it's one of them. Hell, let's go back to 2019 where the Chelsea team arrived late to Baku for the Europa League final against Arsenal. And the whole thing of Kante not even going to be apparently not playing. It's got witchcraft. It's got mind games. It's got the marks of the big one, like at the end of towards the end of the season where, you know, this is F1 2021 all over. And I said this last, I think that's what I said this last time. Something's going to happen. You don't, because every time they said something, every time they said something this in the media, something happened. I just don't know what that thing is going to be. But this title race is not going to be straightforward on the last day. It's not going to be straightforward. Yesterday, I was told you, I don't see West Ham doing anything. I really don't, and part of me doesn't think it will happen anyway. But now, after hearing that, I'm thinking something's up. Something is up.
I tell you what, I would agree more with that if it was Rodri and De Bruyne as well. Ederson being out, I mean, Ortega's a very good shot stopper. He's letting some goals, though, that's a bit sus. Don't get me wrong. Ortega is letting some sus goals, but he's a good shot stopper. If Rodri pulls out of that match and De Bruyne... Okay, let's play the match. And we're 10 minutes in, De Bruyne goes down with an injury, Rodri goes down with a knock. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different ballgame. Zuma, I'm not saying, you know, but all I'm saying is, if you were to fall and land on one of them, I am not telling you to injure the guy, but if he were to fall over, oops.
Put it this way. Zuma, former man at Chelsea, yeah? He had some redemption after Catgate, and as a cat owner, that sits. Now, redemption can come around full. Torres did it. Kai Havertz did it at the Champions League final. Apparently Logan Paul done it in WWE. Kurt Zuma, it's now your turn. It is your turn to redeem yourself. Do what needs to be done.
No, but imagine this crazy scenario. They score Kurt Zuma, Mikel Antonio, and Jared Bowen get 3 goals to West Ham.
I'm saying.
And then Haaland gets 1 for City, which, you know, golden boot thing. And then Cole Palmer hears about that and then raps a hat-trick in for Chelsea.
Come on. Yes.
It's crazy scenarios. Anything's possible. Craig, how are you feeling going against that? I mean, for me personally, I'm happy either way. Like, I want the title, obviously, but I am so proud of my team. And I feel like, you know, for a long time, a lot of Arsenal fans have been crying for their Arsenal back. I think we can say we have our Arsenal back. Now, it's the next phase. Can we get back to winning consistently? Because we've competed 2 years in a row. We've put up a really good fight. Last season, we were very naive and those injuries were so costly. This year, it's a bit of tactical things in a couple of games could have been better, but I don't want to nitpick those matches. But Craig, how are you feeling for the weekend?
In my heart, I feel like we could win it, but it's going to be difficult. In my head, all these last couple of days, I think, you know, City have won it. But as I said, football's a strange game. All the pundits, everyone, Gary Neville, Jamie Redknapp, all of them are saying City have won the league. Well, they haven't even played yet. Anything can happen. West Ham could go there and do a madness on them, and then, you know, I mean, anything can happen. End of the day, it's 11 players against 11 players, 22 players on the pitch. It's a round ball. Anything can happen. So we have to do our job first. We win our game, and if City lose points, drop points, then we're title winners. It would be fitting that we do it, but we have to do it. Anything can happen, Matthew. You know how football is. Looking,
Yeah.
do you remember? You guys might be too young. I remember when Blackburn won the league many years ago, and Man United had to beat West Ham. West Ham again, saying West Ham, and Man United had to beat West Ham at home. West Ham were at home and Man United were away, and Blackburn were playing Liverpool at Anfield. Liverpool went 2-1 up, and ironically, Andy Cole or Andrew Cole, shall I say, out of respect, had so many chances to win the game for United, couldn't win the game. United drew 1-1. That was the season when they didn't win. They lost the double because they lost the cup final a couple of days later against Everton. So anything can happen in football. So imagine Man City lose on Sunday and then United beat them in the cup final. Just imagine it could happen. Football is a very strange. It's a very strange game. It's a very strange game. So if I'm saying if anything happens on Sunday and Arsenal win the league and Man City have to go play Man United in the cup final, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Football's football.
Anything can happen. And if Arsenal do win the league, I'll be at the Emirates on Monday. I'll be at the Emirates on Sunday as well. Don't worry about how. I'll be there. I'll find a way. I'll be there. But until then, we've got a couple of days just to kind of focus in and just get excited for it. And obviously, there's a lot going on in Championship as well. There's the playoffs are ongoing. A lot to play for there. Be interesting to see who makes it up. I think Leeds are in contention in their match against Norwich. They're 2-0 up actually against Norwich, so they're likely to make the finals of the playoffs. Obviously, both first legs of both matches were draws, so 0-0 draws. So it's so exciting to see what's going to come from it. And we'll see. So obviously tomorrow or today, as of you're listening, Southampton have West Brom. So we'll see what happens there, and then we'll have the final on the 26th. Between whoever wins that one. So yeah, it's a lot to play for. It's early in the match as well. It's only 39 minutes gone. So Norwich could still turn this match around. Obviously, as you're listening to this, you know how that one ended. But it's going to be an exciting season. And from what I've read in the Athletic today regarding 115 charges, Man Blue, is that decision is likely to go to court in November of this year. Now, me personally, I've been saying this. Saturday's a great date. You know, I think it'll be really nice just to have preliminary decision made and for them to be docked a couple points. I'm not saying that I don't want them to lose for that reason, but all I'm saying is this: they don't deserve the trophies they've had for the ridiculousness of what they've done. And I think people don't really understand what this club have done in Man City. It's one thing to break the rules, but the real reason why the Premier League are upset with them is that they've not complied with the investigation in any way, shape, and form, and they've used stall tactics to get away with giving evidence that the Premier League wants. So as far as I'm concerned, you can take your trophies, you can take your wins, you can take your free on the bounce, and you can cough out of this place, all right? Because you ain't won nothing as far as you ain't won nothing, not fairly anyway. You've gamed the system, you've cheated, and you've lied about it, and you want to appear innocent. Terrible club with an exceptional manager and some great players, which you paid for with money. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. Like I said, Tin Pot and Tiny Tots, a match made in heaven. And well done to you guys for throwing away your season. And I really hope it. And I hope you're proud of yourselves, Tottenham. I hope you're really proud of yourselves. And I hope come Sunday evening we'll all be looking back laughing at you because you would have lost out on 5th place too. Losers. Although that would also mean 6 losses on the bounce for Andrew, which probably won't be good for his future. But anyway, that's not my problem, not my club. And on that note, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for listening, guys. This has been an exceptionally fun season. Lots of ups and downs, crazy relegations, crazy matches, lots of charges, some bans, and one club that still cannot be found guilty, even though the evidence stinks. That's it for us, and we'll see you all next time.
Peace.
Peace.